family. How is everyone? Shalom, shalom. I know you've already read your word, right? Scripture, maybe not a chapter, but scripture at least, right? At least one or two. Pastor Kofi, you checked him out this rising. He's got thousands of videos. You won't be surprised. I mean, you won't be surprised. You won't be disappointed. And you would be surprised because the truth is amazing. The things I'm learning, the truth. Whew. So, every Friday here has it been every Friday? I think because initially when it started, I wasn't going. So I'm part of SOC, which is Servants of Christ, with our amazing pastor, Pastor Kofi. I don't want to say his full name because I always mess it up. I like to hear people say their names, but I just don't say it right, so I just don't mess it up. So I'll just say Pastor Kofi. I can say that part. Hashtag Find Kofi. Hashtag FINDKOFI. Right here on YouTube. You'll love it. I promise. Um, so Pastor Kofi and his beautiful wife, Elder Maya, they have a lot of things going on with SOC. Um, I mean, it's everything that you'll need to keep you fed, um, to keep your eyes open, to help lift your spirits, to give you the truth needed so that you can be who Yah has called you to be. They have a lot of things. Um, because, like I've said in many of my videos, that was the one thing that made me really pay attention to our pastor because he said, they go to church on Sunday, but I don't know about you guys, but I need him every day. I was like, sure, do. You go to church on a Sunday, you might feel good for a couple of hours, and then it's life is normal. It's back to normal, right? Um, so that's why Pastor Kofi preaches. He's on pretty much every day. He does take a couple of days off during the week, definitely need it. But when he's off, there's others that will take his place. Elder Tamara, my Minister Tamara, she'll come on. Minister on. Or, like I said, thousands of videos to keep you fed daily because we need it daily. So when I first started, I wasn't going to the women meetings. I remember they went to a trip, I think it went to the Bahamas or Jamaica, somewhere. I was like, oh, wow, that's nice. Um, but I was still new and I was still trying to figure this thing out. And I wasn't sure if I was going to stay as far as continuing to be a member. So didn't really attend any of the women's meetings. And then this year, well, I think it was this year where I just started going to more of the women's meetings. I think I went last year, a few of them towards the end of the year. But now I need them. That's another part of being a part of SOC. I need the women's meetings. I enjoy it so much. I don't know what Elder Maya does to come up with the themes or the discussion questions that she comes up with, but they are amazing. They help you think. It helps you heal. Um, so um, I wrote some questions down because it was a lot. Um, Friday past questions and the Friday before, I wrote those down. So I just thought, you know, that I would, hold on, one, two, three. I just thought I would bring up these questions in a video because then, it's women's meetings, but these questions can work for anyone. So I just thought, why not? Because I really look forward to the meetings because you just never know what the topic is going to be. And it just seems like it always it always speaks to me. I don't know what it is, but it just always resonates with me in some way or another. Um, and I just feel like these would be great for anyone. So here, hold on, you guys, just a second. Okay, so this was from the Friday prior, not the Friday that just passed, the Friday before that. Um, Here's the purpose for the lesson: to identify and dismantle destructive thought patterns. Sorry, sometimes my handwriting, I can't read it. I kid you not. So yeah, it's the purpose for the lesson was to identify and dismantle destructive patterns, thought patterns. Um, I had written this backwards, so I had to go back. This is the purpose. Okay. One of the questions was, what negative thoughts do you wrestle with most? And I was like, ooh. And, like I said, just about every time she brings up something, it just hits me. It's like, you know, and you don't even realize, I needed some healing in that part of what was going on in my life. If anyone has ever seen any of my videos, I am so shocked. I have over 250 videos, which is so wild to me. But early on, when I started this channel, it was mainly about my upbringing and the things I went through. And it was hard. Ooh, it was hard. It was hard. Um, I was tortured as a child. I lived in many, many, many different homes growing up. I was confused. I was angry. I was more angry than anything. I was confused too, but I was more angry about just everything because it was so wild. But when you become an adult after being raised the way that I was raised, it is hard to, even when you're healing, you feel like you're healed, you just never know what comes up later on. Something could happen, something can trigger you, you don't even know it's a trigger, and then you just off the rails. And I'm speaking personally. Um, yeah. So as that's what my books are about. My healing journey. This is really all about, and this is what my YouTube channel is about too. It's a healing journey, not just for me, it's for anyone that it's for, because the Most High had me do these for a reason. And so it was hard. Even still today, as I'm healing, I have moments where things trigger me, and I just, still trying to not be that old person that I used to be. And so when I read that question, what negative thoughts do you wrestle with most? Never, not being enough. That was always my thing. I never felt like I was enough. No matter where I lived, no matter whose house I was in, I just always felt like I was lacking something. First of all, when you live with people and you're living with them and they're getting paid for you to be there, you're just a paycheck to them and they don't really care about you per se. And you know, I was treated I was treated poorly. Like, I mean, I don't have any other word for it. Like, it was my upbringing was horrible. It was a nightmare. Like, really, it was a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. Um and the worst part about it was, I didn't cause it. It wasn't, I didn't do anything to have these things happen to me. But just be. I was just living, just existing, and it was hard for me. But people pretty much let it be known that we don't really want you here, but your dad pays a lot of money, so we're gonna let you stay. But we're not gonna be that nice to you, but um, so And I can remember her. And I say her as if it wasn't me, but I mean, it was her. She was sweet, she was kind, she was generous, she was loving. I mean, it's still who I am, but you got to get to that. But then I was just freely, you know, giving the love and being, trying to be sweet and all of the things, and it didn't get me anywhere. So I kind of just felt like I was unimportant. I was invisible. Nobody loved me. Nobody cared for me. Um, and I mean, it was what it was. So I learned that being that sweet, nice girl, people treated me as if, I didn't have any feelings. So when I became a teenager, I cut your throat real quick. And I felt like, and I literally used to say this is who y'all wanted. This is who y'all brought. This is the person y'all wanted me to be. So here she is, raw, raw. I will cut your throat in a heartbeat. Um, the problem that I had was I didn't like being that person. I didn't like being that way, but I felt like I had to be that way because otherwise people was going to take advantage of me. People were going to try to hurt me. So I'm going to try to hurt you first. Um, and that's how I live life. Do you know how miserable that is to live your life? You just always on the defensive, ready to go there at any second, you know. And that was me. That was my life, and that's how I lived it. And I didn't know any other way to live it either. So yeah, that was the one thing that I wrestled with, being enough. Um, and then the second question says, how do those thoughts affect your behavior? Those thoughts affected my behavior in such a bad way. People didn't want to be around me because I was, I'm on edge and I'm ready. What you want? What you got? I'm ready. Um, and whoever, I don't care. And 9 times out of 10, everybody got it. I didn't really care. You was just you should use in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know. You gonna get it too. And my behavior was horrible. I was mean. I was hateful. I mean, hateful. The worst things I could think of was what it just was like right there on the front of my thoughts. Like everything negative was all I thought of. Negative thoughts is what I've always had. I grew up like that. And so my behavior was erratic. My behavior was confusing. People didn't understand me. It's like, what is wrong with her? So I used to hear a lot. What is wrong with her? Or she's crazy. Yeah. And yeah, and then if you called me crazy, I'd show you crazy. Oh, you think I was crazy? Let me show you crazy. Basically. Um, yeah. And this third question says, what does mental renewal look like? I didn't know. Renewal, because I'm still struggling with it somewhat. I'm healing. And it may take a little longer for me to, no, not, it depends on the situation. Some situations I react immediately and it's automatic. Like it's not even something I try to do, it's an automatic thing. But some situations I can actually talk myself and think before I make a choice. Um, so I'm still waiting on the renewal, I think. Um, because I want all situations that go on in my life to be a let me think about this first. Because the Most High gives us choices. So your choice, it can be a good one or a bad one. Every action gets a reaction. So however I respond, you know, free will. So I want it to be something that I can deal with every and all situations that go on in my life. But it's still not. It's not. I still struggle. But I do it. I will say, nope, I can't even say that. Nope, it does depend on the situation. See, like him, that boy, that is why he takes me right up there, like all the way up there. Um, because feel I feel like I saw myself in her in a way. Like you are allowing this bastard to do what he do. Excuse me, I apologize, but that's your thought process. I'm not saying that about him. I'm not calling him that. I'm just thought process. Like I told y'all, I'm transparent. So I felt more of a. I felt like I was being abused and taken advantage of, and so I needed to do something, and I need to react. And that nice stuff, people don't react to that. But that demon that I can bring out of me, they respond to that. So yeah, let me help her out because she apparently don't know how. Um, because you afraid of him, but I ain't. You know, and yes, in that moment, I don't care who you are. I feel like I can beat you. I feel like I could tear you apart with my bare hands. That's what I feel like. Now, it might not be reality. I'm 57. I do work out on a regular. However, yeah, I'm still 57. I be tired. I be ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock. But yeah, but in that moment, I feel like I could with my bare hands just rip you in half, and that scares me because that person, she'll do anything. She'll do anything, and I don't like to go there. That's why I like to be by myself. I like to hang out with my sisters, though. I do like to hang out with my sisters, but I still don't like to hang out with even them that long. I don't mean like long. Like I can hang out with them on a weekend. Then I need some space, and it's not just because it's them. It's just because it's me. It's how I regulate my own self. And it's crazy, but I feel like I've learned how to deal with because I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but I had a doctor tell me in my 20s. Um, I mean, the man just looked at me like I was insane. And he was just like, so I've never heard stories like this before. And I'm like, well, how long you been a doctor? Like, he said, I've been doing this for over 20 years. He said, you know who you sound like? He said, you sound like, and he says, I've had these people as patients, Holocaust survivors. And I was like, a Holocaust survivor. Hmm. Didn't know what that was really. I mean, I heard about it, but I mean, I never really, I don't know. I didn't understand the magnitude of what he was saying. And so I go, because that was back in the day. I went to the library actually, and I asked the librarian about the Holocaust, and she started crying, and I'm just like, she's like her grandmother, I think, or somebody was a Holocaust survivor, which was wild. I was like, look how now see, I didn't say that back then, but I'm just saying that right now. Look how the Most High is. I was able to meet someone who actually knew of a person that survived the Holocaust. And I had an opportunity to talk with her, and I started crying. So then I started looking at the information and the books and stuff that she gave me to look at, and I'm bawling. And now I'm just like, oh wow, I'm like a Holocaust survivor. And I'm looking at these people, how they were starving and all of the things that they had to go through and the things that they went through. And I thought, I am like a Holocaust survivor. I survived the Holocaust of my father. That's wild. That's really wild. And that man said, the same doctor, he said, I reminded him of a Holocaust survivor. And he says, I cannot believe that you're not schizophrenic. And I thought, schizophrenic, what is that now? I'm like, it used to bother me a lot when I used to hear people talk about me, because it was always, everybody felt sorry for me. It's like, oh, wow, that poor child. And it used to irk my nerves. It used to irk my nerves because it would irk my nerves because when I would ask for help, for people to help me, nobody wanted to help. Nobody gave a damn. But now that I'm somewhat, I'm past it. Well, like my pastor says, you have survived 100% of everything you've been through. So yes, I survived it, but it was taking me out slowly. Excuse me. It was taking me out slowly because trying to act like the things that you went through didn't happen and just try to be a normal person, if there's such a thing, was a challenge for me. It was a huge challenge. People didn't understand me, and I didn't understand me either. I'm not doing this to be crying, so y'all gotta give me a second because I'm not going to do that. It wasn't in my intention to be crying. So yeah. Um. so being a part of SOC has been such a blessing, and I've never met any of these people in person. I've never put my eyes on any of them except through social media or Zoom calls, right? Being a part of the women's meetings is such a necessity for my life. It really is. Because then you really see that I am not, there's nothing wrong with me. I used to always think I am crazy. I just been through a lot. And it started very young. And so it was just the way I grew up. I grew up being tortured. And I literally used to believe that that's what I was born for. I was born so that other people can have somebody to abuse. And when you have that thought process about who you are as a person, I mean, it's hard not to see that person. Like, it took a minute. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to see myself in a different light. If I don't love me, I can't expect anyone else to love me. But I did. I expected people to love me, but I hated myself. I am surprised that this is making me tear up like this today. It's like really, I am choking up, like literally. So, like I said, this was not about boohooing for me. This is not about, no, it's not about that. I'm just saying that when you are a part of a family rooted in the Most High Yah, it's unmatched. Like I can't put it into words. So going to these women meetings on Fridays are so great for me. Let's talk about the questions that we had this week. This week's questions. Which emotions tend to control you? Anger, fear, sadness, or anxiety? Which one do y'all think I said? Of course, I said anger. But I also said it could also be a mixture of anxiety as well because I would be so anxious, you know. I remember, I remember, I remember years ago, I met this person and they was like, why are you you're just so mean. Why are you so mean? And I was so offended. I was so offended. It's like, I don't know why, but I was so offended. Oh my gosh, you are so mean. And it's like, I don't want people to see me that way. So then I became a hermit. I just stayed in my house. And I mean, like literally. And I was on public assistance at the time, so I was able to do that without leaving the house. You know, I was before they was like making you go out and do stuff for it. To stay in my room, I would get black plastic bags and tape them up on my window to keep my room black. I kept my children out. They were not allowed to come in my room. Don't come in here. Don't talk to me. I will come out there and fix you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Other than that, leave me alone. And we're still like that today. You know, I'm not that woman that I was, but we'll go in our rooms and close our doors. um, the second question was, what situation causes you to react instead of respond? Perfect example, being here with my daughter and this ninja that stays here. I'm reacting because and I've already seen it. Like that part, I don't have no control over. It's a dude. First of all, he's a dude. He's not a man, but you know, I've always had a thing about men. I hated men. Like I hated them, and I treated them like I hated them. And it was just me being angry with my dad and the upbringing and just getting back at my dad, even though I couldn't get back at my dad, but I would get back at him through the men that I would associate myself with. So to have some man call himself got got her afraid. Well, I'm not afraid. What you want? What you want? Calm it down. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So a situation like that, it makes me react automatically. Automatically. Yeah. And I really thought I had that under control. But like I said, the Most High puts you right where you need to be. And I needed to see that because I thought I had that under control. And I don't. I don't have that under control. Yeah. So, um, how does emotional control protect your relationships? It didn't. It didn't protect my relationship. If anything, it made it worse. Because with me and a man, you ain't telling me what to do and don't try because it don't work. No, it don't work. You do what I say. And if you can't do what I say, then you be gone. Yeah, that was me. You gonna do what I tell you to do. I ain't doing nothing you say because you don't know what you're doing. Even if they did, you don't because you're a man. All praises. I do feel that I'm not um, that way with men anymore. I mean, I've not had a relationship a long, 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 long time. Um, but I don't know though, and that's probably why I'm still single because I don't know. I used to be the one whooping up on a man. I'd whoop his butt in a heartbeat. I'm trying. I don't say butt, but you know I meant to say. I'm saying that because it's YouTube. This is for educational purposes only, people. Um, my son was probably, I think he was like 10, 11, 12, one of those ages. He said, "Ma, got your question?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why you always hit your boyfriends first?" Uh huh. Why you always hit your boyfriends first? Because I don't want them to put their hands on me. They don't even be trying. I'm like, they don't. He said, no. Yeah, I used to black men's eyes in a heartbeat. Like I did. I hit them. Here was the thing. I would, I would react quick before I even knew I was going to react. It was like I would black out for a second, and then I look, and now he's holding his eye, like literally holding his eye, holding his mouth. I'm gonna punch him in his mouth. Who are you talking to? You know. It was funny though, because I wasn't raised with my mom, and when I actually found my mom, I didn't. I finally called and was able to get her on the phone, and I was talking to my aunt. My aunt said, because she asked me, different things about myself, and then she asked me about a relationship, and I let her know I'd knock a nigga out in a heartbeat. He ain't got no man, nope. And she said, "You sound like your mama, cause your mama was like that, cause she ain't play that." And I used to, well, I thought then, like, yeah, I'm like my mama, but it's like, no, I don't know if I'd been like that. If I wasn't raised that way, like for real, I don't know. Even though they said when I was really little, when I was like with my mom and them, they was like I was little, and I used to always hit people with this big old thick brush. I'm born in '68, so back in them days, them brushes was a brush. You could kill somebody with them brushes that we had. Oh, excuse me, you could unalive somebody with a brush. Um, and they say I used to whack people with brushes when I was little, and I was like, yeah, that was funny. But I mean, I honestly felt that um, the way that I responded to men was because of my upbringing. But it also could have been I just had that little spunk like my mom too. That was something that bothers me. It still bothers me. When my mom passed, my sisters were crying because they had a relationship with mom. I cried because I didn't. Excuse me. Nope, we're not doing that today. I cried because I never had the opportunity to have a relationship with her. But I will say, the first day I met her or saw her again, everybody kept telling me that she was sick or whatever. My cousin, lying ass Frankie, forgive me. That's just what they told me his name was. That's what they called him. Everybody called him lying ass Frankie. But my cousin Frankie took me. He came over. He was like, "I'm gonna take you to meet your mom," and I was so nervous. And we walked over, and we weren't even that far away from each other. So we walk over. We go in the house, and I can remember him saying, "Hey Emma, you know who that is?" She just started crying. She just started crying, and she said my name. The first time I ever been seen in my life. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I felt like somebody saw me. My mama hadn't seen me since I was like one. She knew me. She knew me. But we still never had the opportunity to have a relationship with her. And that hurt more than anything. I am so sorry, you guys. So that's the first time that I felt like I was seen. She knew me. She knew me. It was funny to hear her say my name. I often wondered what she looked like and everything. I didn't realize I looked like my mom. People used to say that. That was probably why your dad was so abusive to you because you look like her. But I didn't know what she looked like back then. I didn't have any pictures or anything, and so all I saw, all I saw was him, and so everybody used to always say I looked like him. But really, I look like my mom. Like my mom. But anyway, I said I was not gonna do that. Oh man. So when my mom passed, I cried so hard because it's like I'm thankful that I got to see her and that she got to see me. But I hated the fact that I never was able to have a relationship with her. That hurt a lot. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just crying out of one eye. What is that? Okay. Uh, so, anyway, so yeah, this video is not just about the questions. It's about your healing. It's about what have you been through in your life that you need some healing from. I'm thankful that I have family with SOC. I have I don't bother them like that, because I use you guys for that. When I'm feeling like I need to talk or vent, I'll use this because I don't want to bother people. Because sometimes I'm just in a mood and I just want to cry. Sometimes I'm just in a mood where I just want to talk. Sometimes I'm just in a mood where I just want to have somebody around. We don't have to talk. Just sit there with me. I'm still healing. I'm definitely still healing. But all praises to the Most High that I am healing and that I'm on that page to do so. Because early on in life, I didn't see that. Honestly, I didn't see me living past 18. I really didn't. I past 18. It just didn't fathom. Like, eight, no, I'm probably going to be gone by then. I thought I'd be gone before then, actually. But all praises, I'm still here. I'm here to help other people heal. I'm here. I made a video yesterday about, I wrote the books. I'm financially challenged. I don't like it. I'm used to having a job. I always had a job. I was never rich or anything, but I always had a job. And so when I want to go buy something for myself or go do something for myself and I'm not able to do it, I have to remind myself I don't need to do that because the Most High covers and takes care of all my needs. So if I'm not able to do it, that means I don't need it. But I'm human. I want what I want sometimes. I tell you what I needed, and I didn't even know I needed it. I needed SOC. I really did. I really do. Thankful to have them. I can't wait to get together with them, with the meetups that they do. I feel so left out sometimes. Okay. tears back so I can change my mood. Um, Everything happens for a reason, though. I was talking about yesterday. I apologize. I tell y'all I forget what I be talking about in a heartbeat. So I was talking about in my video yesterday how I wrote the books. I'm trying to help people heal. I'm doing what the Most High is telling me to do because I'm telling y'all I never thought in a million years that I have written books. What? No. Um, and the way you get paid, the pay cycle is every 2 months when you get paid. So, um, the books that you sell in February, you get paid for them in April. The books you sold in January, you will get paid in March. Um, and I'm so thankful because my beautiful little sister has been supportive. She's been so supportive of just about everything that I've done. I appreciate her more than she knows. Um, I used to sell this stuff to help you lose weight. Again, she was the first one. I was making posts about my books and she never even saw it. And then when she saw it, she's like, I'm buying a book every month. I'm really thankful for her. And the Most High has something so special for her. I can see it. I see it. I'm so thankful. She finally was able to have a son. He's so handsome and so doggone smart. He's so smart. Not that I would expect him to be not smart with her as his mom. She's a teacher also. She's been teacher of the year. I think 3, 5, 6. I don't know. She's been teacher of the year just about every year. She's awesome. She's so beautiful. I have beautiful sisters. I'm not as close with them as I'd like to be. Um, my little sister and my other sister, we're pretty close. We talk a lot. Well, we don't talk because I don't have a phone, but we keep in contact with one another. Um, think we have a family trip coming up this year, and I'm praying that the Most High will allow me to go. I want to. I didn't get to go to the last trip, but when we went to Wisconsin, we had so much fun. I like hanging out with my sisters. I do. We have fun. And my handsome nieces and handsome nieces. Did I say that? No, excuse me. My handsome nephews and nieces. Um, I'm sorry, my mind is all over the place. I hate when I start crying because it just. Whew. I'm sure this video is. Ooh, I never like to go past 20 minutes for real. I apologize. This video is long. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Have an amazing rest of your day. Shalom, shalom. Love you guys.